Hi everybody, I'll be your host for today. My name is Heer Singh. I am the Gen Z director for the media team for Team Kennedy, and today I am hosting Mr. Thompson.
Welcome on board. We got the Gen Zs involved. We can't lose with the Gen Zs involved.
No, never. So, just tell me a little bit about yourself, your background in the political experience, and then your role on Team Kennedy.
My name is Tramell Thompson. I am from Brooklyn, New York. Basically, I'm a labor advocate. I advocate for labor rights in New York City, mainly in particular transit issues. We're talking about wages, healthcare, assaults, whatever there is with a transit issue, you will see me right there in the forefront. Um, but I became more prominent in the city as a whole during the whole COVID situation and the mandates and things of that nature.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what do you do in this sense?
Well, what I did during the whole COVID thing was I never agreed with the mandates. I think that
Mhm.
it should have been their decision, the person's decision between them, their doctors, and their God. And I never believed that people should have lost their jobs because they didn't get the shot. So what I did was I organized a rally in Albany, New York, brought out about 6,000 people. I got vaccinated. So when they was trying to label the movement as a whole bunch of anti-vaxxers, and I was in the forefront of that movement, I was like, that's not true. So what I decided to do, like I said, I threw the rally in Albany, New York, and I tore up my vaccination card in front of thousands of people, and that went viral. And that allowed me to travel the country to tell my COVID story and why I made the decision that I've made.
Wow. That's amazing. So it started from that rally that you went viral on. So where have you traveled and what have you done?
I went to DC, Florida, LA, Texas, the Midwest, wherever they wanted me, I was there because people took a liking to that for some reason. And I guess I was in the right place, right time, and had the organization to pull us together from the origin. And I just went to speak my truth, and it vibrated with different people across the country. And here I am now.
Wow. That's truly amazing. So with all that and with everything, so COVID was like 4 years ago. With everything that happened, what made you want to join Team Kennedy with what you advocate for?
Well, Bobby was my friend prior to him wanting to run for president, and I love him as a person. He's a
Mhm.
genuine human being. And when you look at the work that Mr. Kennedy has done prior to wanting to run for president, we talking about cleaning up the water with the Riverkeeper project. We talking about fighting for reparations for the Indians, suing all these big companies, Monsanto's and things of that nature. You won't find that in the average human being, someone who cares about humanity. When you find someone who's fighting for clean water, clean air, worried about the toxins that you're putting in your body, that's a person that cares about humanity. And if you're going to lead this country and want to be president, you have to have those qualities. And Mr. Kennedy, he have those qualities. And then not only that, I went to the College of New Rochelle, Brooklyn campus inside Restoration Plaza. And back in the 60s, his father, Robert Kennedy Sr., Jacob Javits, and Mayor Lindsay created a program, uh, um, a financial institution program called Restoration Plaza, which wanted to help uplift Black businesses, the Black community, and things of that nature. And we talk about the 60s when Bobby was still young, relatively young, and he remained on that board for like 30 years. So once again, this is all prior to him wanting to run for president. So when it comes to issues specifically in my community, the Black community, he's not a grifter to anything in my community. And how can I not support someone like that?
Yeah, that's truly amazing because I know he supports the Black community, and I wanted to start a movement for my own religion for the Sikh community because I knew that he advocated for those that you don't see other candidates advocating for. So I heard you started a movement within Team Kennedy. Um can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, when I first joined the campaign, Bobby called me and was like, "Look, I'm running for president. Would you
Wow.
support me?" I was like, "Absolutely." So, um, I just told him to let me know when he's coming to New York. So he let me know he was coming to New York. I said, "Do you trust me with your schedule? With a couple of days of your schedule?" He was like, "Yeah. Get in touch with Stephanie. I'm gonna put you in touch with Stephanie Spear, and we're gonna see what we could put together." So he gave me 2 days, like four hours each day. And after the first day, what I did was I took him to black businesses. And I think the second day I took him to one of the largest, probably the largest, urban platform called My Expert Opinion in New York City, and probably like top 10 in the country. But after the first day, he asked me would I like to join, his staff, his personal staff, to get him on board. So basically, I created the Black engagement team for Team Kennedy, just to get him familiar and put him in front of our people. I feel that in my community, we don't pay attention to politics for whatever strange reason, but I wanted to make them aware that we have someone that's running with our best interest in mind.
Yeah. So how did you get in touch with you said you were friends with Mr. Kennedy. So how did that like initiate in the first place a while back?
Well, I was very familiar with his work with children health defense. So
Hmm.
I was always like here and there involved, paying attention to things like that. And then during the COVID situation, I seen him in a couple of cities. We was in the same room. I believe we was a part of similar speaking engagements. When I got to LA, one time when I got to LA, he came up to me and was like, "Look, I need your number."
Wow.
And the next day, I had a speaking engagement in front of like 30,000 people. And I said, "Look, I got a speaking engagement," because he was like, "Look, give me your number. Let's go hiking in the morning." I'm like, "Wait, hold up. You want me to go hiking with you? I got a speaking engagement in the morning. How often?" Like, I was like, Kennedy asked me to go hiking, and I have the biggest speaking engagement of my career. What am I going to do? But everything worked out fine. He invited me to his home. We went on like a 2 hour hike, and the hike was very personal. I asked him whatever questions came to my mind. I felt that he was very honest with me. I would never tell people what we talked about on that hike, but it was very personal conversation. Then we went back to his house, showed me a tour of his house, and he signed some books for my son and gave my son a pine cone, which my son still have today. um and it started from there. From there, it was like uh I knew him for like 30 years after, prior to that. But yeah, the friendship was very we hit it off first time, as they say, right? It was good. It was great.
Wow. So everyone I've talked to has said, like, the common thing that everyone has said is that he's such an honest and humble guy. And, later on I was going to ask you if you could spend a day with Kennedy, what would you do? But you've already done that. So
I spent
that's
plenty
amazing.
days
Wow.
with Mr. Kennedy. And like he's honest. And
Hmm.
what I love about him is that if you disagree with him, he will listen to what you have to say. And if it makes sense, he will change his position. So he's not the type of person that will stand on his square and feel like because he's this person, we have to believe him. He loves to be challenged. And I think that's just the lawyer in him, to be honest.
Yeah, he's such an honest guy, and he always speaks what he believes instead of hiding his opinion to the public, which I think
Exactly.
is really good because there is a lot of people who say, I don't agree with him on this, but he's a very honest and humble guy, that there's so many other things that I believe that there are so many other policies that I believe that it doesn't affect me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So with the Black engagement initiative that you started, what kind of lasting impact do you hope to make on your community and with Team Kennedy?
Well, what first I would like to explain to them that, my candidate is not a grifter to our community. Once again, he's been doing the work decades before even thinking about running for president. And we're so used to candidates that only come to our community when they want something from us. And once they get what they are seeking, we don't see them again for another 3, 4 years until they seeking that again. I think it's different with Mr. Kennedy, and I feel very comfortable putting him in front of my community. And like I say, I just want my community to see that they have more than the two options that the mainstream media is trying to put in front of us. It's more than those two. We have Kennedy, an independent, someone who really and truly care. I don't want to tell my community, I don't want to direct or lead them to say vote for Mr. Kennedy. I just want them to make an educated decision. Look at the body of work. We have two. He's going virtually against two incumbent presidents, and President Trump and President Biden. And everybody say make America great again. Trump had the opportunity to make America great again. Biden is a straight failure. What do we have to lose with Mr. Kennedy? Especially when you look at the plans that he have, not only for America but for Black America, which is very important.
That is very important. So what do you think about him running as an independent candidate? Because I know a lot of people say that since he's running independent, he has no chance. He has no chance of breaking the two-party system. What do you think about that?
I think it's wonderful because I'm gonna be honest. For me, I was I was taught to be Democrat, right? It was just a default for my community. And I believe in something called political tribalism, which it exists, and I think that's what is destroying humanity, to be honest with you. And I think that people should be independent. I think they should have an independent way of thinking. The Republicans say right things, the Democrats say right things, and vice versa. The Democrats say wrong things, Republicans say wrong things. What we get caught up in is that once we are signed to a party or loyal to a party, we would tend to defend the things, even the things we don't agree with, right? When you think independent, you could take from both sides, right? You able to have your own frame of mind, is what I
Right.
said. Like nobody's framing your thought. You don't have to worry about your party framing your thought. You able to think for yourself. And I think that that's what Mr. Kennedy is doing for all of us. Like he's making us think for ourselves. He's educating us on Black Rock, State Street, and Vanguard, and how they buying up all the homes in America and making it hard for people like yourself. You're 16 years old. When you get that career and you buy your home, Mr. Kennedy want to make it easier for you, not harder for you, like the other candidates are doing. So, um, it's very interesting, but independent. I feel like I'm an independent. When he announced he's running as an independent, I was like, yes, we have an independent candidate, and it made it even easier for me to go 1,000 times more harder for him.
Yeah, and like people ask me why you care about this campaign so much. You're only 16, you can't even vote. I mean, I want to advocate for someone who's running our country. Like the policies that he's enacting, it still affects me, it affects my family. So I want to advocate for someone who's bringing those policies up.
I mean, not only that, you're one election cycle away from being able to vote.
Yep.
So, halfway through Mr. Kennedy presidency, when he gets elected, you're going to be able to vote the next election, which is going to be great. So you're coming in at the perfect time.
Yeah. And I wish like all kids my age would know that they could bring up their voices through this election, even if they're not old enough to vote, because you just have to look at it through a different lens. Like whether you're 16 or not, whether you're eligible to vote or not, like you can still make a difference.
Hey, look, I wish people my age would have that same would have that same outlook. So many people do not get involved with politics simply because they don't understand it. And I just don't get it because politics run every aspect of our lives. When you look at the rent, when you look at mortgages, when you look at groceries, when you look at healthcare, when you look at your wages, when you look at certain work rules for certain jobs, all of that is politics. And you must pay attention to it in some form or fashion. So hopefully this time more people get involved with this election. They said that the greatest block in the election is the people who do not get involved. And right now we are on a mission to get those people involved, to make them see that someone genuinely and truly care for them in this country.
Wow, very well said. And that is a great way to end this podcast. Thank you so much for all your inspiring stories and everything that you had to say. Um, I hope you come to Michigan soon. I would love to see you talk somewhere.
Oh, no problem. But I would like to thank you because it's people like yourself who keeps me motivated to let me know that, listen, this country may be in good hands, decades to come. So when I see young people as yourself get involved and you getting your peers involved and y'all paying attention, um, it means the world to not only me, but I'm quite sure to America as a whole. So I would like to thank you for keeping up the great work, and you keep shining. And like I said, you're only one election away from casting your vote. So let's keep that train going.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thompson. I really appreciate you coming on today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Thank you.